Well, hello, my name is Jim Royal. I'm a huge Beatles and Elvis Presley fan and basically classic rock in general. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Feel free to leave comments. I always enjoy reading them and I do my best to try to respond in a timely manner. And also do a thumbs up, that's most appreciated. So today what I wanted to do is another installment of Beatles finds of all kinds. This is going to be number 4. What this basically is me doing a little show and tell. I show you either Beatle related items or Beatles solo related items. This could be records, cassettes, this could be 8-tracks, it could be books, it could be posters, art, anything, promotional items. So I'm going to focus on 5 items today. What I have is I have a 45, a single, I have an EP, extended play, I have a unauthorized CD, and I have a book, and then I have another little knick-knack. Okay? So I'm going to start off with this one. This is the Beatles' I Want to Hold Your Hand. This is the first single from Capitol Records with the Beatles. I saw her standing there as the B-side, and this was released November of 1963. So this was basically, it just, with releasing this going to number 1, and then them in a couple months landing in New York and going to the Ed Sullivan Show in February of '64, and basically sweeping America, the British invasion and Beatlemania all started. This was really the key where it started here. So I Want to Hold Your Hand, this was a song that was recorded October of '63. And I Saw Her Standing There was recorded for the first Beatle album, the UK album, Please Please Me, back in February of '63. But both of these songs would appear on Meet the Beatles, the first Capitol Records album here in the States in January of '64. This was, of course, the #1 song, and it was really big. Now, what's interesting here is you can see Paul McCartney has a cigarette there. Later editions, the 20th anniversary, actually what they ended up doing is Capitol airbrushed it, so you couldn't see it when they reissued it. So that's that side. That's this. And then you've got the cool vinyl here. I'll show you. I'll get you a little closer so you can see. So this is it. And then we've got this one. And then here's the nice, I love that vinyl. Okay, so now the next item I want to show you is an EP. So while that is a 45, a single which has a song on one side and then another song on the second side, an EP, this is an extended play. This has 4 songs on it, okay? And this is basically was an EP called Long Tall Sally. It was released June of 1964 in the United Kingdom. This particular press is a 1969 version. Okay, and this was their 5th EP. So what they did, a lot of times what they do is they would take songs off of an album and put them on here. This is the first time, though, that it's all original, either cover tunes or new songs that were not pulled from anything else. And that's why I think this is kind of significant. This was on the Parlophone label, which is where they were in Britain, and it's in mono. It's pretty cool. So let me show you something else over here. So let me get a little bit closer so you can see this. So this is the Beatles' Long Tall Sally, and this is the back side. So what you have here is you have Long Tall Sally, which is the Little Richard song, making a little appearance from Buddy, the cat, and Paul McCartney sang this one. In fact, this was the last song that he recorded, the Beatles recorded at Candlestick Park when they ended their touring for the Beatles. Then you have I Call Your Name, which was an original from Lennon and McCartney. It's an earlier Lennon song, and they finished it later. John sings lead on there. Later that was a big hit for the Mamas and the Papas, a California group here in the States. And then side 2, you've got Slow Down, which is by Larry Williams. And you got John singing that, and then you got Ringo singing Matchbox, which is a song that Carl Perkins made real popular, who they were really inspired by. So this is the 45. Well, it's the EP, but it's play on 45 speed. So you have 2 songs per side. And I just love that Parlophone label. Okay, so we got that. Now I want to show you something interesting. This was a promotional item from 2013 when Paul McCartney put out his new album, and it's a cube. And I'm not going to show you, I have never done this, but there's a battery in there, and if you pull that, then you'll have the battery connect to the to the inside where it'll allow it to turn on. I just didn't want the battery to drain or anything. But what it does is you can turn it on, and I think it's pink. It'll light up in there, so the cube will be lit up, and I think that's kind of cool. I got this at a record store. It didn't cost anything. It was just a promotional item. When they were done with the album, they let me have it. So this is promoting his 2013 album, and as you can see there, it has his little signature. So it's a nice little collectible. I like it a lot. All right, so then we also have an unofficial CD from Paul McCartney and Wings, and this is called Last Flight, and this is on the Voodoo Records label. So December of 1969, Paul and Wings were getting ready to, well, they did a short British tour, and then they were going to go to Japan in 1980. We all know what happened right there. Paul McCartney got busted for marijuana, and the tour was canceled, and they went home, and eventually the band broke up within a year. But what this is, these are recordings from December 17th, 1979. There was possibly going to be a live album that was going to be released, a follow-up to Wings Over America. And then, as a bonus on this particular one, there is extra stuff from Rockestra and the concert for Campuchia, which was a cause that they did between December 26th and 29th. There were a bunch of bands that got together to help Cambodia. Relief, very much like George Harrison's concert for Bangladesh. Groups like The Who, Led Zeppelin, or members of Led Zeppelin, Rockpile, The Pretenders, Elvis Costello, among others. So they got together, and then Rockestra was a super group where they did a few songs with Wings, which is also included on here. And if you open this up, this is made to look like, demonstration only on the white label for Columbia, because by that point they were on Columbia Records here in the States for Wings. So this was the last version of Wings. Basically you had Paul, you had Linda McCartney, you had Denny Lane, you had Lawrence Juber on guitar, and then you had Steve Holley on drums. He does some Beatles songs on here, besides the songs that were from Back to the Egg. He does Got to Get You Into My Life. He does Let It Be. What else does he do on here? The Fool on the Hill. He even does a song Hottest Sun, which was from the first solo album from him. So I thought that was kind of neat. Really nice stuff on here. Really the only thing that was released from this December 17th recording was Coming Up, the live version, which we're all familiar with. The stuff from Campuchia, there were 5 songs that were released on an actual 2-record set with Wings and all these other groups. So some of this stuff was released, but the December 17th, this is pretty new, other than, Coming Up. So I think that's pretty cool. All right, my last item for the day is a book called Paul McCartney Recording Sessions, 1969 to 2013. Excuse me, it's by an Italian author named Luca Perassi. So that's it. And I found out about this online on YouTube. I was watching, and they interviewed him, and I was just really impressed with this. So very much like the Beatles recording sessions with Mark Lewison, This is Paul McCartney's recording sessions from 1969 through 2013. So it starts off with his first official solo album, McCartney, and it goes all the way through New. And what is cool about this is it will break it up by year, and then it talks about the sessions. It lists the songs, say who recorded with him. It will talk about some information about the sessions, about what happened. So, and then, so it'll keep going on there. And what I like about it, it even talks about unreleased songs. And then in some cases what it'll do is it'll show, where this song would eventually be released. And was that on a 12-inch? Was that on a special single? Was there a different mix? It's just really an excellent book. When I heard about this, I said, you know what? I'm a big, huge Paul McCartney fan. I really want to know what's going on this. So anyway, I would encourage you to check it out. There's, a lot of unreleased songs on here that Paul McCartney is definitely notorious for recording. Some of them appear later on the archives. Some of them haven't. The expanded version of McCartney 2, for example, where that was originally supposed to be a double album. It goes in details about those songs like Blue Sway and, other things like that. Mr. H. Adam, I think, is on there. Can't say enough about how great this book is. I've really kind of skimmed all over the place, but what it'll do is it'll talk, you can look at 1992 and it'll kind of give you a summary of what was going on for him at that point, and then it will show the actual songs. I'll show you one like Looking for Changes from Off the Ground. It says recording December 9th, 1991 to July 92. It says where it was recorded. It says who pretty much was on it, who played what, and then it talks a little bit about the song. It's an excellent collection. So would definitely recommend this book. So I wanted to say thank you very much for watching my video, and you take care, okay? Have a nice day. Bye.